Today's video is the second video tutorial following on from my latest Sew With Me video. In that video I made the McCalls M6696 sewing pattern, which is a traditional shirt dress with pleated skirt and pockets. You can find my original video in the link in the description if you wish to check that out. During that video I explained how I used alternative methods to the pattern instructions, and I promised some follow-up technique tutorials giving an in-depth, step-by-step guide on how to do them. Last week I gave you the burrito method for inserting the back yoke. In today's I'm going to show you how to attach the collar and the collar stand. A collar is constructed from two pattern pieces, both cut twice. You have your collar. This is the part you associate traditionally as being the collar, and it will fold down onto the shoulder. Then you have the collar band. This is the standing up section that lays flat with your neck, and it sits between the bodice and the collar. You get variations in shape, but today I'm showing you the standard collar you get on the normal average shirt. The first step is to interface your upper collar, the one that goes on the top and is visible when worn. You also interface your outer collar band. This is the one that faces outwards and will be hidden under the folded down collar. Use a woven fusible interfacing. It's much stronger than the non-woven and you'll see the better quality immediately in your garments. Next, get your remaining pieces, this is your under collar and your inner collar band, and trim away 1/8 inch from these three sides as shown. The reason we are trimming these smaller is because we want to encourage them to roll under so the seams aren't visible. It's a tiny amount, but it gives it a slight pull that helps make everything neat. Once done, we will treat the two pieces as though they were exactly the same as the interface ones. Beginning with your collar, place them right sides together and align the edges. Pin round the three edges that were trimmed. You'll feel that slight pull to the under collar, and that's what you want. So, using your seam allowance, in my case that is 5/8 inch, and remember to backstitch to secure your threads at beginning and end. At the corner, leave your needle down, lift your presser foot and pivot your fabric. Lower your presser foot and continue on. Trim the corners away and grade the seam allowance. You should grade the under seam allowance down to 3/8 inch to reduce bulk. Once happy, turn the fabric the right way round and use a point turner to push out the corners. You want them sharp and you also want them matching as closely as you can. Press this, working at the edges to begin, rolling the seam so it's on the side of the undercollar. You could use a clapper to make it sharp. Keep working, going all the way round, focusing on the corners. Then press the remainder. Here is the rolling technique up close so you can see better. I am using my fingers to roll the seam line slightly to the underside and pressing it with steam to set it in this position. You have a sharp collar with no visible seam. An optional step now is to top stitch around this edge. I personally like this because I find it locks in all that rolling and holds it all in place. Use a contrast thread to make a feature of this line. Once again, use the pivot action at the corners. Place your collar aside for the moment and get your outer collar band, the one you have interfaced. right sides together, align the bottom edge to the neckline of your bodice. You should have notches on your pattern to help you place it correctly, and the ends will overlap the inner neck. It's important you get this symmetrical. As the neckline is curved a lot more than the collar band, you may need to snip in the seam allowance to allow it all to line up smoothly with no tucks or gathers. Take this to your machine and sew at the 5/8 seam allowance. This can be difficult due to the amount of fabric and the curves you have, but adjust your fabric constantly and slowly make your way round. Trim your seam allowance to 3/8 inch, leaving the overlap sections as they are. Then press your seam allowance upwards towards the collar. Place your bodice right side up and align your collar on top also right sides up. Use the notches to ensure it is located centrally on your collar band, keeping it symmetrical. Attach your collar to the collar band using pins. Now take your uninterfaced inner collar band piece, press up the bottom edge by 5/8 seam allowance. Align this on top with the matching outer collar band edges attached already to your bodice. The collar will be sandwiched between the two collar bands, right sides together. Sew from one overlap to the other using the 5/8 seam allowance. Begin with your needle exactly beside your neckband front edge. This is the advantage of this method. By doing this part last, you can ensure the collar band is the exact dimension of your bodice neckline, which is prone to stretching out whilst handled. Once done, notch the seam allowance. Turn the band to the correct side and press. Concentrate on the front edges, making sure all the folding seam allowance of the collar band is inside and not visible. Use pins to help you secure it as you work. I recommend you hand sew this with a basting stitch before securing it properly. You get a neater finish. To secure, you can either hand stitch with a slip stitch along the lower edge of the inner collar band. Alternatively, take the garment back to your machine and top stitch at the 1/8 inch mark all the way around your collar band. Your collar is now neat and secure inside and out. My name is Elfie and I create sewing tutorials for all abilities. If you have enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe to see more. Also check out my previous videos, I have more techniques and sew-alongs to inspire. Happy sewing!